Today, we're going on a journey thousands of years into the past to explore one of life's most profound experiences, but through the eyes of the ancient Egyptians. We're going to uncover how they navigated everything from conception to childbirth, guided by this potent mix of gods, magic, and some surprisingly effective medicine. And it all starts right here, with this incredibly dramatic line from an ancient funerary spell. This single sentence really sets the whole stage. You see, this wasn't just some story they told. For the ancient Egyptians, the divine family of Isis, Osiris, and their son Horus was the actual blueprint for mortal life. And make no mistake, family was everything. It didn't matter if you were a god or a mortal. Having children wasn't just a personal milestone, it was a cosmic necessity. It was the key to order in this life and the next.
I mean, this connection to family was woven into their entire worldview. Having kids literally helped maintain Ma'at, that's their sacred concept of cosmic balance and order. And on a really personal level, it was your children who would perform the crucial funerary rites that guaranteed your own rebirth and eternal life.
And the alternative? Well, it was terrifying. This quote from a man named Periogus Scobanks just says it all. To be childless was to be forgotten. It meant your name would go unspoken, and you'd ultimately be erased from existence, just like a tree ripped violently from the earth with absolutely no hope of growing back. So, beyond all the cosmic and spiritual stuff, the reasons were also deeply practical. Children were a huge part of the household workforce. They were basically your social security system, supporting you in old age. And for a man, having a big family was a public declaration of his power, his status, and his virility. So how do we even know all this? Well, our understanding is built on these incredible primary sources, actual medical texts written on papyrus that have survived for thousands of years. These documents give us a direct window into their world, detailing everything from gynecology in the Kahun papyrus to the magical spells they mixed with practical remedies in the Ebers papyrus. It's amazing stuff. Okay, so how did the Egyptians believe life was actually created? Let's dive into their fascinating understanding of conception, which was this seamless blend of what they saw as biology and, just as important, magic. Now, to get how they thought, you have to understand Heka. This wasn't magic like pulling a rabbit out of a hat. For them, Heka was the fundamental creative force of the entire universe. It was the power that made medicine work and made rituals effective. And when it came to creating new life, Heka was absolutely everywhere. So this led to some very distinct ideas about who did what in creation. The man provided the creative spark, the seed, and get this, they actually believed that semen originated in the bones of the spine. The woman, she was seen as the fertile field, the essential, nurturing vessel who received that seed and gave it a place to grow. And this focus on male creative power was all over their culture. You see creation gods, like men, often shown with an erection, a literal symbol of their power to create. The bull was another potent symbol of virility. Men even used magical spells to protect their potency because being a virile husband was a core part of their identity. But, and this is important, the woman's role was not seen as passive. It was powerfully active. Just like goddesses Hathor and Nut, mortal women were seen as the vital force who could incite male arousal. Their sexual power was essential to even get the process of creation started, and their bodies were the sacred space that would nurture and protect that new life. So once conception was successful, all the focus shifted to the womb. The next 9 months were a journey through a sacred and, frankly, dangerous time, a period of both incredible creative power and immense peril. And again, the mortal experience mirrors the divine. A pregnant woman's sacred duty was to protect what they called the egg in her womb from all the chaotic forces out there, both natural and supernatural. In essence, she had to become a mortal Isis, guarding her own unborn Horus from all the dangers of the world. And to manage this whole mysterious process, they developed what is basically the world's first known pregnancy test. The instructions were pretty simple. A woman urinates on 2 separate bags of grain, one with barley and one with wheat. If the grain in either bag starts to sprout, she's pregnant. It's a remarkably practical idea. Which, of course, leads to the big question. I mean, it sounds a lot like folklore, right? But could a test from nearly 4,000 years ago actually have worked? The answer is pretty astonishing. Yes, it actually worked. Modern scientific studies have replicated this test and confirmed it. Turns out, The high levels of estrogen in a pregnant woman's urine can, in fact, stimulate seed germination. It's just this incredible intersection of ancient observation and modern science.
They had other fertility tests too, and these really reveal a unique understanding of anatomy. The logic behind something like the onion test was to see if there was an open passageway through the body. If the smell of an onion placed in the vagina could travel all the way to her mouth, they believed her body was open and she was fertile, ready for conception.
So let's move to the climax of this entire journey, the moment of birth itself. This was seen as both a sacred act of creation and a moment of extreme danger for both the mother and the child. The birthing space itself was magically charged. Birth often happened in a special shelter that was designed to look and feel like the papyrus marshes of the Nile Delta. Now, this was a very deliberate act of myth mirroring. The goal was to create a sacred space where a mortal mother could draw on the power of the goddess Isis, who herself hid in those very same marshes to give birth to her son, Horus. And they used every single tool they had to manage the intensity of labor. They would recite magical spells to metaphorically loosen the fetters on the child. They used special medical remedies, and they called on goddesses like Hathor to act as divine midwives to protect both the mother and the child through the whole ordeal. But the child's arrival, that wasn't the end of the danger. The moments right after birth were absolutely critical, with the infant's life just hanging precariously in the balance. This quote from a medical papyrus it's so stark and incredibly poignant. The very first sound a baby made was read like an omen of its fate. A healthy, strong cry, what they heard as NJ, meant life. But a weak, gasping sound, MB, was a sign of impending death. It's a heartbreaking glimpse into just how fragile newborn life really was. If the child did survive those first critical moments, special rituals were performed to strengthen it for the life ahead. And get this. This included a version of the opening of the mouth ceremony. Now that's the same ritual they used on the dead to let them breathe in the afterlife. But for a newborn, it was used to give them the strength to breathe and survive in this world. So in the end, for the ancient Egyptians, reproduction was this incredible journey that you walked hand in hand with your gods. In a world that was filled with danger, both seen and unseen, maybe this act of mirroring Isis, of following that divine blueprint, was what gave them the ultimate power, the confidence to face one of life's greatest and most perilous mysteries.